Hello everyone, good morning. So our teacher assigned us to make a cell bacteria 3D models. So we are the Smart Swagger group. Leader, Arabella M. Atay. Members, Alea C. Austria, Ramsel A. Villegas, Rizal Almario, Jedeline Carpio, and Rica De Jesus. For the table of contents, first, the 3D maker. Second, the presenter. Third, the reporters. And lastly, the pitchy. But before we proceed to the main course, first, we need to define what is cell bacteria. We all know that bacteria are prokaryotes looking well-defined nuclei and membrane-bound organelles, and with chromosomes composed of a single closely and a circle. They come in many shapes and sizes, from minute spheres, cylinders, and spiral threads, to flagellated rods and filamentous chains. So now, let's proceed to the main course. First, the 3D maker.
Please prepare the following materials before you proceed. I started by drawing an oval shape in a piece of cardboard. Once you've done that, cut it and trace it to make another one. I filled the base with paper, then proceed to paper mache. Once the glue is dry, you can start painting the base, but make sure to use the appropriate color. In my case, the dark green serves as the capsule of our cell, and the light green represents our cell wall. I'm using a pink paint to represent the cytoplasmic membrane of our cell. I started cutting strips of colored paper. In this case, I use green, and this will serve as the pili of our cell. As you can see in here, I started gluing the cutted strips of paper around the base. Make sure to use the right color in representing the part of the cell. Now, we need to cut those strips of paper. This will serve as the cytoplasm of the cell. As you can see in here, I use stick and piece of paper in labeling the parts of the cell.
Our group constructed a bacterial cell 3D with their corresponding parts. The final output is specific at each part. The base is made of crumpled paper, carton, and glue. Ramsel mixed the paper with glue and other materials. Paper glued and pressed together. He molded it to oblong shape to form the base that serves as bacteria cell. Then after that, he painted with green, light green, and pink to serve as different sector of bacteria cell. When the paint dried, he cut a tiny green parallel art paper and then glue it around the base that will serve as pili. Lastly, Ramsel cut a flag size and write the parts of bacteria cells and prick it to its corresponding part.
Third, the reporters.
As you can see, this is the 3D model of bacterial cell. There are 6 parts of bacterial cell, and the first one is the nucleus. This is a irregularly shaped region within the prokaryotic cell that contains all or most the genetic materials. The second one is the cytoplasmic membrane. It is a biological membrane that separates the interior of all cells from the outside environment, which protect the cells from its environment. The next one is the cytoplasm. It is the thick solution that fills its shells and enclosed by the cell membrane. The next one is the bacterial capsule. It is a well-organized layer and a large structure common to many bacterial cells. Next is the bacterial cells 3D shows the different parts of it, like cytoplasmic membrane. It's a biological membrane that separates the interior of a cell from its outside environment. The primary function of a plasma membrane is to protect the cell from its surrounding. The second one is nucleus. It's an irregularly shaped region within the cell of a prokaryote that contains all or most of the genetic material. In contrast to the nucleus of eukaryotic cell, it is not surrounded by a nuclear membrane. Cytoplasm is the gelatinous liquid that fills the inside of the cell. It is composed of water, salts, and various organic molecules. Cell wall is a structural layer surrounding.
Fourth, the Thichi.
This is the 3D model of the bacterial cell. As you can see, everything is made out of recycled materials, starting from its base until its details. The colored green paper represents the pili, which is a hair-like structures from the cell surface of the prokaryotic cells. It has role in movements but also involved in adherence to surface. The dark green line represents the capsule that camouflage the bacteria from the immune system by mimicking the hot tissues. And the light green line represents the cell wall that has multiple functions during bacterial growth. And one of them is maintaining bacterial cells' integrity and shape. And the pink line represents the plasmic membrane, or also known as plasma membrane, which is acting as the permeability barrier of most of the molecules and serving as the locations of transport of molecules into the cell. And the messy blue structures is the cytoplasma, which is a gel-like matrix that is composed of 80% water, nutrients, enzymes, waste, and gases. And lastly is the dots that represents the nucleoid, which is essential for controlling the activity of the cells and reproduction.
So here are the guide questions of this activity. Number 1. How did you find the activity? Number 2. Why are organelles important in the structure of a cell? Number 3. How does the structure of the organelles relate to their function? Number 4. Why is it important to understand the differences between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? Number 5. How important are the roles of prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and how can you help to maintain its good stability in the environment? Here are the answers for the guide questions. Number 1. How did you find the activity? We found the activity fun and exciting because it is our first time to do a 3D model. Also, while doing the activity, it has expanded my knowledge on the bacteria cell. Although I had time doing some part of it, we still had fun learning and have learned a lot from it. Number 2. Why are organelles important in the structure of a cell? Organelles play a very important role in a cell. It helps the cell survive because organelle is responsible in harvesting energy, getting rid of waste, and making new protein. Number 3. How does the structure of organelle relate to their function? Organisms are composed of cells, and these cells have specific structures within them that allow them to carry out their functions. These structures are called organelles. Organelles perform different functions within a cell, and this is called the divisions of labor. Number 4. Why is important the difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? It is important to know the differences between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells because it allows us to control diseases causing bacteria without harming our own cell. Number 5. How important the roles of prokaryotes and eukaryotes, and how can you help to maintain its good stability in the environment? They get disease-causing species at war by fighting for space and nutrients on and within the body. They strengthen our immune system so that they are ready when our bodies are threatened, as well as help in digestion and provide us within the vitamins. Scientists and physicians may also use prokaryotes to support the human body. Resilience and resistance are the two most important aspects of ecosystem stability. Resistance is an ecosystem's capacity to stay intact when faced with disturbance. Resilience is the speed at which an ecosystem recovers from a disturbance. The first is to keep an ecosystem diverse in terms of plants and animals.